today about why to use automation. I'm going to keep saying automation to maximize your revenue and what that can mean from a software side of things. My name's Holly. I work for Pebble and I'm part of the customer success team here. So making sure that everyone's getting the most out of using our product. And we've also got Horatio from Poncho Pay here as well to tell us a little bit more about how we work together and can help streamline your childcare voucher payments as well. A little bit of what we're in for today. We'll be doing a little bit of setting the scene, why, automation can help you save time and what are the common themes and challenges we see providers have all the time when it comes to admin their bookings, how that can then help you slash your admin time. We'll then be looking a little bit about how we can sort of communicate with our parents at scale when we need to, and then looking at, things change minute to minute. So how can we do refunds and changes and make that a little bit more streamlined? We'll also look a little bit about maximizing attendance and therefore revenue, staying ahead with compliance and making things like registers much easier. And then we'll look at automating and reconciliation of childcare vouchers, just really streamlining that whole process for you. We'll talk a little bit about the Poncho Pay partnership, and then we'll walk you through a real life demo. We'll have any questions at the end, but feel free to pop them in the chat as we're going through once, a question comes up, and we'll come back to them a little bit later on. So let me set the scene for you. A long time ago in a land not so far away, I was a children's activity provider running a very small scale after school camps, holiday clubs, community sessions, that kind of thing. I think the hardest part for me was managing the emails coming in, making registers, moving people over. If I wanted to do tax-free childcare vouchers, were people going to pay me on time? And then, the coaches that I had working with me and the girls that I had working in the office were really always quite stressed on, are they adding people to the right registers, picking up calls, WhatsApps, everything, and then sort of chasing down that money as well for people that haven't paid up front. So we're looking at how can we streamline that with automation today. We want to slash your admin time. So imagine this, you have your booking link on your website and a parent wants to join that session. All they need to do is go through a checkout process that we're so used to and familiar with in this day and age. They book on, they get an automatic confirmation email. And so they're happy that they're booked, they've paid, and then you automatically get that child on your register for the dates that they've booked for. That's as simple as it is from that part. We're also going to pop them out an automatic reminder. So if they've booked for a holiday camp in 3 months' time, so they get nice and planned ahead and early, what if they forget that they've made that booking? So we're going to pop them out an automatic reminder. You can turn that off for other classes, but you've got that layer of automation there for you. We've also got things like waitlists. So if there's interest in a class that's fully booked, as soon as a space becomes available, with a click of a button, you can actually send an email to everyone on that wait list or specific people and actually invite them to book on properly now that you have that space. Hopefully that means that you won't have to then sort of manage wait lists and interest on spreadsheets and invite people and WhatsApp them. And it can just all be done really, really easily through your system. Another thing that we heard a lot is, in this industry, things change all the time, day to day. Children get sick, they want to book a different session, their friends booked in on the Saturday, so can they come to the Saturday instead? And so how can we deal with that? The way we can do that is just being able to communicate really quickly to parents and being able to streamline all of that communication. So as I say, after they book, they get their confirmation email. They can also have reminder emails. And then we've actually got communication through the platform as well. So whether that's replying to a whole register or a whole class worth of people at the same time to say, hey, running late, we're stuck in traffic. The coach is going to be there in 5 minutes. You can easily do that from one click of a button. You can also do that to tell people about new products that you have. So you're opening a new holiday camp. You can invite everyone local from their classes to come to that. So it's really quick, real-time updates for parents, and hopefully that will then reduce your queries and follow-ups because all the information is right there for you. On the back of that, when things do change and you move someone from class A to class B, rather than having to go back to them and say, yeah, Susan, I've moved little Jimmy from this class to that class, the automatic email of you actually doing the move and moving them over will actually send out with all of those details. So they're confident that that move's happened and you've already admin that action. So you don't have to double up on that work as well. So there's definitely two sides to it. Coming right onto what I was just saying, the refunds and changes. If you want to refund a child, you have lots of different options. So yes, you can issue a refund, or you could do no refund for a cancellation, depending on what the situation may be. And then the next step from that is, do you want to send confirmation of this? Maybe you're just moving them from register A to B, which is an internal process, and the parent doesn't need to be notified for that. You can take away that step, or you can leave it on and let the parent know exactly what changes have been made. We've got instant adjustments then without lots of manual input. So by you doing that, you're just moving them from one place to another. Hopefully that's then going to reduce a lot of the stress for your admin staff. They only have to do things once, and then the system knows what's going on. And that sort of speed and accuracy in moving children around gives you and the parents that bit more flexibility. So whereas maybe a change might have had to happen 24 hours before to do all of the admin in the background that goes with that, now you can actually do that right up until the point of the class if needed, if that suits your policies. So it gives ultimate flexibility for your families and for your staff as well. This bit is something that I love. So we can actually start looking at how can we maximize your attendance and therefore your revenue. So when you have a space come available on your wait list, your wait list has 10 children on it, so you want to open a new class or open new capacity within your class, you can actually send that email to all of those attendees and say, we're ready, come and book on with us. Additionally, because of the way that we handle our trial processes, parents have to do less to say yes. So they can sign up for a trial, whether that's paid or free. And then if they love it, they don't have to do anything else because we're automatically going to charge them the night before their first paid session, and they just have to show up and have a great time. Whereas if they do want to cancel, it's really, really easy. They'll have until their next paid session. They just go back into their email, click cancel trial, and then they're not going to be charged. It's a process that we're all very familiar with. And I used to always say it's a lot like the Netflix process of if you want to cancel your trial with them, until I found out Netflix haven't done trials for about 5 years. So I need to find a new thing to say there. But we're all very familiar with the process of how that works. And that's what parents want. They want to be able to sign up, and if they love it, just come back without going through that process all over again. Because of this, it can increase the attendee rate. We're reducing the friction for your families to sign up, and they just come back time and time again. And then we've got automatic updates on availability as well. You also see really clearly how full your classes are and where you can put marketing pushes. Maybe your Saturday 10 o'clock session's fully booked, but your Saturday 10:30 session has space, and you can invite people from one wait list to the slightly later class. So it's really looking at where do you have space for the children that want to come to your activities, and how can we maximize that attendance therefore. My favorite topic, staying ahead with compliance. So I remember how sort of hard it was sometimes to manage changes if you've got different registers and a friend wants to be with a particular friend. Moving them and writing that out on paper sometimes got really messy once you had changes throughout the day, whereas you can actually just move them on the system in real time. We've got things like timestamps on the register. So when you sign a child in, it's going to record the time they were signed in, and also the admin user who signed them in as well. And the same for signing them out. So you know exactly where children are at all times of the day, and you've got a record of that as easy as clicking a button. We've also got things like notes on a child, which will have like a little icon on the child once you make that note. So it's really clear at the end of the day, for a holiday camp, for example, if there's an accident form to be signed, you can just add a note and it will alert you when you're checking that child out to give the guardians that form. It's a really, really easy way to sort of always stay ready for your checks, and have, stress-free compliance management with that as well. Then we get on to the best part of this little chat today, the automated reconciliation of childcare vouchers. So I'll paint two examples for you. I worked for a holiday camp and we would not accept children paying with tax-free childcare vouchers for 2 weeks before that booking because it might, take some time for that payment to come through. So we said, actually, you have to pay only with, cash or card. You can't have this option. And then when I was running my own business, I needed people to pay, with tax-free childcare vouchers. So I had to hope and pray that they'd actually pay before they turn up. So it was just two situations that weren't ideal really for anyone. Whereas now with tax-free childcare vouchers, we can seamlessly put that into our checkout experience. So people can choose to pay by card, Klarna, or Poncho Pay, which we'll get onto. The best part of Poncho Pay from my side is not having to reconcile those childcare vouchers and it automatically being done for us. But I'll let Horatio talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Let's just see. Yeah. Do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I mean, I'll probably just whiz through a lot of these slides because I
Yeah.
think probably the best way to see Poncho Pay is actually to look through a demo and see how it actually operates. But yeah, I
Let
mean,
me know when you want me to click through.
next slide would be great.
There we go.
So basically, I mean, Poncho Pay works in two ways. One is on the parent side of things, making it as easy as possible for a parent to access government funding and pay you as a provider. And then on your side is removing any of that admin involved in receiving those payments, whether that be checking your bank statements, logging into voucher portals, replying to parent payment queries, or any admin involved in basically receiving these payments. So, you know, beforehand, what happens without Poncho Pay, with every other booking system, is there's a sort of soft booking within your booking system. So let's say a parent owes £100. Rather than that parent paying that £100, what happens is that that payment is zeroed. They then have a soft booking within your system, and there's no real assurances that the parent's going to make that payment. They're meant to go off and complete a tax-free childcare payment or Eden Red payment or whatever else. But there's a chance that that's not going to be made. So then there's chasing, there's checking your bank statement, there's trying to reconcile these payments, and there's also a lot of stress that's involved with that. Happy to go to the next slide. So what do we offer? Well, Poncho Pay is taking care of that whole journey, all of that admin from the parent side of things and also from your side. So on your side of things, it's basically guaranteeing that payment at the time of booking. So not having the sort of soft booking, it's sort of we're making this booking as a parent, and you're guaranteed that you're going to get paid for that booking. Um, as Holly basically mentioned, obviously the reconciliation of payments. So through the connection of your accounts, we can basically check that all of these payments are being received. And when we can see they're being received, we'll then update the Pebble system so that you don't have to do that reconciliation. You haven't got to log into Eden Red or Sodexo or Kiddie Vouchers to try and see, oh, has this parent paid this money? Poncho Pay will do that automatically and let you know once that those funds have been received. We also chase parents. So you're gone are the days of you having to send an email to say, hey, there's this payment of £100. We haven't received it yet. Can you please, complete this payment? That's all done through our system. And I'll get onto that a little bit in terms of those statuses. As with real-time payment tracking, this happens through our system. It's all automated and it's all then updated within the Pebble system. In terms of making sort of card charger, this is our security measure. So this is our sort of payment guarantee. So if as a parent's going through the checkout process, and again, we'll show you what this looks like in a second, we have the ability to basically put a card on file prior to a parent being able to attempt to make a voucher payment. Then they have this 14-day window within which to complete a voucher payment. This is where the chasing and the prompting comes in from the Poncho Pay system to make sure that this payment is made. If then after a period of 14 days, our system can't see this payment of £100 via Eden Red has been made, we'll flag you and say, hey, you guys have an overdue payment. How do you want to proceed? You might want to chase the parent and say, hey, we haven't got this payment yet. And they might say, oh, the Eden Red system is down. And there could be extenuating circumstances. And maybe you don't want to do anything with regard to this payment, but you will have the option to charge that parent's card and therefore basically recoup those funds. In terms of payouts, obviously the payouts happen every day, and those are covered through our system. Next slide, please. I think, to be honest, I think the best way to go through all of this is going to be on a demo. I mean, because we can go through, actually see the system live, so we can go to the next, maybe back one. Yeah, again, so from our side of things, I mean, our system is always learning, and we're getting closer every day to the point of 100% reconciliation rates. So every month, every day that goes past, this is always improving. On the admin side of things, there's a massive reduction because you're not doing this chasing, you're not logging into your voucher portal, you're not checking your bank statement, you're not having to answer parent payment queries. That's a big part, and again, we can get on this in a second, of the Poncho Pay system, is that we'll, through the parent's journey, there'll be a pop-up from a sort of chat bot where they can have sort of live help during the checkout process. There's no other payment system that does this. And what this enables is parents to ask questions about what's happening at each stage of the process. And this massively increases conversion as well, and saves you from having to answer those sort of questions, because we can deal with them directly. With regards to reduced missed and late payments, this is what I was alluding to earlier with regards to having a card on file. Our system will check every single payment, and although people are very good at going through a list of payments and making sure that things aren't missed, there is human error. There isn't human error with Poncho Pay because humans aren't involved. There's a system that's going through every single one of your payments and checking that every single one of those payments is being received. And if they're not being received, then we'll find out about it and we'll let you know. And then it's down to you as to what you want to do with regards to that. Next slide, please, Holly. So in terms of the integration with Pebble, we basically handle all tax-free childcare and childcare voucher payments. So we're already integrated with the Pebble system. So in terms of getting set up, it's really very simple. You set up an account with us, you then click to go live with Pebble. That's it. There isn't really anything else to it. So the whole idea is that Pebble take care of everything to do with bookings, and we take care of everything to do with tax-free childcare and childcare voucher payments and report that back to Pebble. Next slide, please. So again, this is basically all there is really to it. You sign up, you connect your bank account, you connect your voucher accounts, and you can begin to start accepting payments. You can do all of this same day. If Monday morning you decided you want to turn on Poncho Pay, then by the afternoon you could have it ready to go and start accepting tax-free childcare and childcare voucher payments. We try to make it as simple as possible, and I'm sure there are still lots of other things that we can improve on our side, and we're doing so. But yeah, we're just trying to make it as simple as possible for everyone in terms of starting the use of it. Now, I think it could be useful to quickly go through a demo. I know that we haven't got that long left, but maybe I could just run through the payment process from a parent's perspective, and then I can also jump into how that payment arrives. So if you could stop sharing, then maybe I can start sharing.
There we go.
Okay. If this will load up. Okay, so what we'll basically do is run through the payment journey from a parent's perspective, and then can jump into how that payment arrives within Poncho Pay and how that correspondingly speaks back through to the Pebble system. So this is taken from the point of checkout. So a parent in this place has added £100 to their basket within the Pebble system. They've got to the point of checkout and they've decided they want to pay via tax-free childcare or childcare vouchers. So they then come through to the Poncho Pay system, whereas this would be the name of the provider that they are booking for. Their email address is pulled through from the Pebble system so they can have receipts of their payment. And then we have these two different payment options. So employer childcare vouchers, these are the legacy childcare vouchers such as Eden Red and Computershare. It'll show a drop-down list of all of those childcare voucher providers that you as a provider are registered and or associated with. If you don't have a cooperative flexible benefit account, then obviously that's not going to show as an option. Tax-free childcare is the government scheme, which is obviously the fastest and largest of all the different voucher schemes that there are. So I'll go through what a payment looks like for tax-free childcare. What we've been able to do is basically integrate with the HMRC system, which has gone from a tax-free childcare payment maybe taking 10 minutes to complete to now taking less than 10 seconds. And I'll show you what that looks like. We have the ability here to capture additional information. We capture the name of the child the payment's in reference to for reconciliation purposes. But again, this auto note here is up to a parent whether they want to add any additional information they might have forgotten during the checkout process. So here a parent is £100, tax-free childcare. They can then hit express checkout. In this case, this is a parent that's paid via Poncho Pay before, so they've already connected their tax-free childcare account. The way they do this is super straightforward. They basically connect through to the HMRC system. They enable connection through that, and they come back. And it just means that the next time that they look to pay, it's that much quicker. So they have the option here to pay via, these are obviously their children on their account, so they can pay from one account, or they could, if they wanted to, split the payment across two different accounts. For the sake of this, I'll just show what a payment's like from one account. So all they have to do is select the child they're paying for and click make payment. Our system is then going through the process of actually completing that payment on behalf of the parent, and that's all there is to it. At this stage, the parent will be automatically redirected to the Pebble system to have confirmation of their booking and of the payment. So from a parent's perspective, that's really all there is to it. And as I say, going from what happened previously with a 10-minute process where you're logging into the HMRC system, you have to try and find the right provider via their URN code, or it could be a name that might be misconstrued with another name that is very similar. You then have to try and add funds to the account. There's just an endless list of issues and steps that you have to go through in order to complete a payment. So this is why, from a parent's perspective, this is pretty revolutionary, which also helps to increase conversion. So on the provider side of things, what you basically gain access to is what we refer to as the Poncho Pay dashboard. So this is basically an aggregate of all of your payments in one place. So whether they're tax-free childcare, Eden Red, Computershare, etc., they'll all come through to this dashboard. And then worthy of note is all of the most important information, i.e. who's paid, how much, via what method, what bookings it associated with, and can it be ticked off as a completed booking and payment. All of that information will naturally feed back from our system to the Pebble system via the API. So if everything's sort of tickety-boo, there's less reason to come in here unless you wanted to use any of our additional features. So the most important column to be aware of here is our status column. This is basically where funds are. So the most advanced status isn't in fact complete. The most advanced status is in bank. This is basically our reconciliation tool in action. So in this case, our system is scanning through your account, looking for a payment of £500 via tax-free childcare with a specific tax-free childcare reference code. And when we can see that these funds have arrived in your account, it'll automatically complete. It will update from complete to in bank and create a callback to the Pebble system. So there's a lot to get into here, and there are a lot of different statuses, and within our sort of frequently asked questions, you can, and our sort of help dashboard, you'll be able to see a lot of what these all mean. But we try and make the dashboard as simple as possible, from the parent's email address to the name of the children to the amount, as well as all the other columns I'm sure you can understand and read yourselves. I think what's potentially interesting is our actions column. This is basically trying to give you providers a bit more control as to how to deal with a payment. So let's say in an instance where our system has not seen that a payment's been made, we can try and find an example down here. So this payment here of £310. If after this period of 14 days, our system chasing and prompting Pepper in this case to complete this payment, if we can see that this payment hasn't been made, but our system is flagged to you then after a period of 14 days, hey, you guys have an overdue payment. It's then down to you as to how you want to deal with that. And let's say on the right hand side here, you then have a button to charge that parent's card. Again, this is down to your discretion. You might find that there are extenuating circumstances, but you have that optionality there in case you want it. Marking payments in bank, you can override our system as well as sort of marking things as complete. The only other thing that I think is maybe worth looking at is our sort of filtering system in case you wanted to filter down all of your tax-free childcare payments for a certain month or anything like that. There are a lot of other features to go through, but just being wary of time, I think maybe this is a good place to stop and maybe take some questions. But as a bit of a summary, what Poncho Pay is doing is making it as easy as possible for a parent to access government funding and pay you as a provider, and on your side is removing any of the admin involved in receiving these payments. So I guess I'm happy to stay on this screen for the time being in case there are any questions on anything that I've been through so far. No questions? Okay. Well, maybe back over to you, Holly.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the Pebble side of automation at all as well? Feel free to pop them in the chat if you don't want to unmute. We can answer anything from there.
Hi, Holly, how's it going? It's just Harry here from MR Sports. I think one of the questions I kind of had was not so much on the parent-facing side, but in terms of us setting up the activities in the clubs.
Mhm.
So for us at the minute, we operate in about 60 locations, maybe. So whenever it comes to the start of term time, there's quite a lot
Yeah.
of activities to set up. Is there any kind of way that we can automate that process? I know with other booking systems like the one that we're using at the minute, we've
Mhm.
been trying to convince them to maybe do some like Excel spreadsheet upload because everybody can use Excel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just was wondering if there is
How to
something.
speed that up.
Yeah, is there anything
Yeah.
like that on the horizon or anything?
Yeah, we have a few different ways of currently managing that. So you can do things like clone activities, and then invite people from previous activities to book back on.
Hmm.
We also have a functionality where you can have an activity with multiple schedules. So you could have your spring one and then spring two, so they're all there. So you could just clone a schedule. We don't currently have something where you can upload an Excel, but we are looking at more ways to make that even easier as we have sort of larger providers joining us with the 60 classes a week. But I think it's a very easy process to add more dates to current classes if that's kind of how you run. And we can always look at what's the best process for you as well. There's a few different ways you could do it, and what makes most sense for you.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Thank you.
That's all right. Any other questions from anyone?
Hello. Yeah, so
Hello.
sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to know a little bit about cost really. I don't know if you're going to go through that.
Cost for sort of Pebble as a platform.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Making
So
payments, all of that really.
yeah, so I can run you through a little bit. Our pricing is currently, I'm not from the sales team, so I'm not 100% sure of the new pricing. I think we're £20 plus VAT. And then we have a 3% all-in take rate as well. So that means your Stripe fee, that's if you use Poncho Pay, everything is then sort of paid from that. So there's no extra hidden costs. But we can definitely put you in touch with one of our sales team to sort of go through more specific costs as well.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, actually, I have another wee question. Sorry,
Yeah, go for it.
just about Poncho Pay actually here issue.
Mm.
So of course, like with like we currently use Stripe, at the minute as a platform, and for us, Stripe is a wee bit more than just, for receiving payments. Like we would use stuff like the invoicing tools and like even just like payment links and stuff like that. If we were to go like full in with Poncho Pay, is there kind of any option to do that between yourselves and or maybe using Pebble instead for that?
Yeah, I mean, by the way, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm not sure my video's gone off and it won't rejoin. So yeah, I mean, Pebble will handle all of your card payments through Stripe, so there'd be no real change there. They also have a system, I think, for payment links. We also have a system for payment links for use of tax-free childcare and childcare voucher payments. But yeah, there should be no real major change in terms of functionality there because it's the same system.
Okay, so could we use a payment link to take a tax-free childcare payment? Is that what you said?
Correct. Yeah, tax-free childcare or
Okay.
childcare voucher. Yeah, I didn't go through that in the demo, but yeah, within our dashboard, there's a payment links tab. But I can show you some more information on that after this call if you want.
Happy days.
Any final questions? Nope. Well, thank you so much for your time. Please feel free to reach out to myself or Horatio if you have any follow-up questions or think of anything after the call. Looking forward to speaking to you guys some more, and hopefully you've taken something away from this and it's sparked a few ideas on how you can use automation within your business. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Cheers. Thank you, guys.
See you later.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye, guys.